am headed out a couple days. I'm gonna go to Denver, watch the bare knuckle boxing event. This is a big one. I mean, I've got to tell you what a long and hard road to get to this point for a sport that you got to explain to people. Right? What does bare knuckle boxing mean? Well, surprisingly, it means they're gonna box with nothing on their knuckles. But it's one of those things you still have to answer the question. And what a card! So we've got Mike Perry versus Luke Rockhold. Do you want to know why I think that's most interesting? Just for me, I'll tell you, this is a main event. The most sought-after bare-knuckle boxing event ever. Sold-out arena. Only way to watch it, Fight app. If I told you that Mike Perry and Luke Rockhold were going to fight, and we're talking MMA, you're going to like that. You're going to hear me. You're going to know both of those guys, and you're going to move on with your day. When I tell you that Mike Perry, that's not going to be a main event. It's not going to be a sold-out crowd. It's not going to be the biggest event of all time. But when I tell you that same thing with those same guys, and I tell you it's going to be bare-knuckle boxing, everything just changed, right? And it does for me, too. Now you look at Eddie Alvarez and Chad Mendes. This is the co-main event. Now, quite frankly, that does work in MMA. Like, that is a clash that as soon as I heard about it, I kind of thought, how in the hell have these two not found each other yet? And you got a pretty simple answer, which is Chad Mendes fought at 145 and Eddie fought at 155. Like, you have a pretty simple answer, but it does make you wonder. Like, yeah, these two guys, three-time title challenger at 45, world champion at 55, like, this needs to happen. And I have been there, done that with Eddie Alvarez. I know everything there is to know about Eddie's career. And you think, wow, Chael, you did a great job doing your research. I said, well, I was there. I didn't have to do research. I was there with him. And, you know, it's one of those things, and I share that because being there with him and having followed Eddie's career, Eddie is one half of, still to this day, the largest North American MMA gate in history. Madison Square Garden world title fight, Eddie Alvarez versus Conor McGregor, $17.2 million at the game. I mean, this is a big deal. Followed everything that Eddie has done. I have never seen him this confident, and I'm not sure that's a good thing. By the way, Eddie Alvarez thinks this was made for him. He's saying, hey, this is what I like to do. This is what I used to do before I learned all these rules they call unified and won a bunch of world championships. I was the world champion. This is Eddie's standpoint. I was the world champion in MMA, which I didn't know. This I know, but he really feels that way. I don't like to talk about street fights. I just don't. I don't like to talk about that, but that's what I'm talking about here. On the streets of Philadelphia, you know, things are different. I mean, Eddie really does believe. Eddie is so fast. When I was in Bodog with Eddie, he was knocking everybody out and he was using his hands. First round, they were getting him out of there. They were getting ready to bring Matt Hughes over because they thought Eddie could beat him. First off, they had nobody left for Eddie to beat up. And secondly, Bodog, ran by Calvin Ayre. You guys know Miguel, of course, the great Miguel. Awesome guy. They thought they had a gym and they were willing to pay Matt Hughes $2 million to come over so they could show the world that Eddie Alvarez was the best. Just sharing for you, right? Feel free to disagree, but that happened. He did it all with his hands. Not flying knees, not spinning kicks, not ground and pound, not guillotine chokes. It was with his hands. And we would watch Eddie, all of us. Eddie'd always be the main event. The rest of us are already done. We're watching Eddie. Just see what he was doing. He'd knock somebody out. You'd have to turn to the person to your left and to your right and say, hey, what did he hit him with? Because it was that fast. Boom. 5 punches. Boom. You saw 2 of them. 5 punches, the dude's unconscious. 30 seconds into a main event fight. It was just this really interesting thing. So now we're going to see Eddie at home in many ways. I don't know how much I love confidence, by the way. I know that everybody in sports loves confidence. I think confidence, for the most part, is a misleading word that some guy puts on a self-help book cover to try to sell for $9.95 on Amazon. I don't know how much I like confidence. I'm just sharing for you that Eddie's got a lot of it, but let's look at the other side of the fence. That's Chad Mendes. Chad Mendes is a winner at everything he's ever done. He's never lost a bare knuckle boxing match. In all fairness, he's only done one. Chad Mendes, they never lost a grappling match. Are you aware of that? Chad Mendes was in NCAA finals back in college, where he was a conference champion. He fought for 3 world championships. I mean, this is a rough night out. Chad Mendes, this is a rough night out. Chad Mendes. So many people don't know this. I love this story. I wish it was told more often. Oh, wait, hold on, guys. I got a special guest. Hello, gorgeous. You want to say hello? She gets shy when you do that, but when it comes out on YouTube, she loves to watch it. Right, Bree? Is that true? Want on there one more time? Want me to put you on there one more time?
Hi.
There you go. My little princess there. Yeah? Okay. Okay, sweetie. I'll lock the door. Let me finish this point. Chad Mendes, and I love this story, and I really do wish that more people would tell, because it's so good. It speaks a lot to Chad. It puts Volkanovski over. And moreover, this is very relatable. The story I'm about to tell you about Chad has happened to many other guys. So, Chad Mendes, 3-time #1 contender, title challenger, didn't lose to anybody except for champions, draws a fairly unknown rugby player from New Zealand. The guy's name was Alex Volkanovski. And he hadn't lost, but he really also hadn't had very many fights, particularly in the UFC. Nobody knew who he was, including me. I don't know if you got a bigger fan than me. You probably have guys that could time me, but a bigger fan than me, I don't know. And I didn't know who he was. Rugby player from New Zealand. Okay. So, it's a great fight. Hardest fight Volkanovski had at that point. I'm quoting Volkanovski. At any rate, Volkanovski wins. No problem. Chad's very mature about it. Shakes hands, tells him good job. Goes to the locker room, showers up, gets his stuff, heads back to the room. And we're trying to have an after party. But the after party was basically a retirement party. I mean, it had the vibe of it. I didn't actually make it, but I was getting calls from our man. Mike Roberts has called me, hey, I need your help. We got to put Chad back together. And I knew what Chad was thinking. He was thinking, as a smart guy, observing the landscape, my time as a fighter most definitely is going to be up at some point. It turns out it's right now. If I can't beat a rugby player from New Zealand, my time is simply done. And he stopped. And then Volkanovski went on the run. So then Chad's got to look back and go, wait a minute. That's the greatest fighter in the world. Pound for pound, that's the greatest in the world. I gave him his hardest match. I'm not done. Well, Chad's right. Yeah, he wasn't done. Which is why, in the meantime, he never lost a grappling match. Which is why, in the meantime, he didn't lose a boxing match. And I just bring that to you because there is some real advantages for Eddie Alvarez here. This is at home. This is what he likes to do, and he is lightning fast, and he's confident, and he's angry. I'm not going to tell you what he's angry about. He's pissed off. Eddie wants this fight, not this match. If it was a match, I would have said it. There's a fight. Eddie wants this fight. I'm going to leave it at that. Experience matters. It really does. Eddie thinks it's on his side. But Chad's actually got in there and towed the line. Where's that fall into play? We're just throwing out buzzwords, right? We're throwing out buzzwords like confidence. Well, let's throw out another buzzword like experience. A couple of things to think about. Two behemoths have finally found each other. Cinco de Mayo, right around the corner.